Okay, if I line up this side with the 3.5, which is right there, you can see I still have the 3.5 there, and I'll be able to cut it straight through there, there, and there when I turn it around. But it's 3.5 inch there, so I can cut these edges, and then I'm going to flip it around. If I flip it around, if I can keep that diagonal line on that row of stitching, I've got 3.5 there, and I've got 3.5 here. So now I can trim that and a little bit off the top. It's a little tricky. Whew. Just a little update on my half square triangles. I've got them all cut. I decided to get them all cut up, and then I've left them in a stack. These are not square at all. It's a good thing I need to square them up to the 3.5 inches. So, you know, when you think of this star, and this is just kind of laid out the way it's going to be, there'll be white 3.5 inch squares in each of those corners. Each of these stars takes 4 of these, which each take 2 of these half square triangles. So you're talking 8 half square triangles per star, and there were 12 stars. So you can do the multiplication and figure out how many half square triangles I had to make. So I've been doing 8 at a time, and then just doing up these pieces here, which uses up these, and I'm down to just 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 more, which is 20 half square triangles. Once I get all these done, I may sew on the sides. I don't think I've showed you. I've done a couple of them here. Just 2, I guess. So those are sewn onto the side of the square. This square, and sew those on. If I can do all the blocks, get those sewn on, then I'll cut my 3.5 inch squares out of these white strips right here that I have cut. But I figure rather than take home a lot of small pieces, I'd rather bring home big pieces. So that's kind of the goal. So the star is pretty, but I did forget how many little pieces go to make up a star. How many little pieces you have to make. It's like all those dang half square triangles. So I'm going to start on my next set of 8, and I will press these out, square them up, and then sew them onto the red rectangle. So 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. My stack is going down, but it is quite a bit of work. So I'll get these pressed out, and then we'll go from there. I'm pretty sure I got a video of doing this correctly. But these squares are so ugly looking. Well, these probably look better than some of them, but it's unbelievable how uneven and ugly they look. I mean, look at this. So what I've got, this is my 3.5 inch line right there, so I want to make sure it's over that, so I've got some cut off. This is my 3.5 inch line here, so that is just about a 3.5. But before I do this first cut, I want to make sure I've got enough to even it off in the other direction. So I'm going to cut that off, and then I'll be back. Okay, there it is. 3.5 line right there. 3.5 line right there. So now we'll cut off this other edge to square it up. And there's my first 3.5 inch square. I'll do that for the other 8. Then I will strip stitch them to that rectangle. Just look at this cute little radio I got for my sewing room. It's pretty cool. It's so cute. It's little. It's very little. But it's cool. I get some music. It is a radio, but it is Bluetooth, so I can connect it to my phone if I want to hear my own music. That's cool. Anyway, I just got that today, so it's not quite so quiet out here. So, here's my 8 squares, my 8 half-square triangles. Here are 4 more of my red rectangles. So, what I do, again, because it's right sides out, I take 2 of them. That one's it's got the right side that way, and this top one, flip over, do it that way. And this one is right side that way. And it'll be right side that way. So, I will take these 4 and strip stitch them. I'll do all 4 along a line. Try to make sure they're square. And sew one, pull the thread out a little bit. Sew the next one, pull the thread out a little more, and sew the next one, and then the 4th one. And then before I press them, I just do the other square onto the rectangle. So I will go do that. There's those 4 blocks done. I can flip this out. I'm going to put this one on top of this. And although I sewed on the red side on this one, I will sew on the right side, so I'm not starting on that. I do try to make sure that they're even as much as I can. And when I look at that over there, they don't always look even. And that could be my pressing. I'll line that up like that. And I'll do that for all 4 of these. And again, strip stitch them. And there they are. And there they are, pressed out. Pressing the seams. All the seams really go towards the red, obviously, so they're not showing up on the white. Just pressing the seams toward the center. And there we go. I believe I've got 8 more to go. Not too bad. Okay, I've got all of my half-square triangles sewn together. There's like 100 of them. Good grief, and that's just on a throw size. It's a lot. I don't think I'd want to make a bigger one with this. But anyway, I've sewn the 2 sides onto 2 of the squares, centers, so I could just strip stitch, but I need to make sure I sew them on correctly because I sewed on 2 incorrectly. So, it needs to have all of the red going on that way. Yeah, I did 2 of them with them going that way. That's not the way they go. I gotta go that way. I do have to pin them so I can match up all my seams. But, yeah, gotta go into town a little bit, but maybe I've got time to get the sides on. We'll see. We can get 1 batch of 10 done anyway. Well, once again, I have been lax in making videos, and I'm so sorry. I get carried away with putting things together. The last one I was showing you how I had to sew together these end pieces, the 2 squares on either side of the little rectangle. So I got those all sewn onto my center block. So both sides, that's that one. I then needed to cut my 3.5 inch wide white stripes into 3.5 inch squares. So I've done that, and I have them all sewn on to the remaining pieces of the star. So I've just started putting my stars together, and I have 3 done, and that's what they look like. Pretty cool, huh? It's a lot of little piecework, but you know, with the star, it always comes out pretty. Yep. So there you go. So I'm down to finishing the star, and I kind of wanted to have that done before I went home, potentially. If not, no big deal. So that what remains is doing the sashing and the cornerstones, putting the top together. So that's where we're at. These 2 pieces are going on pretty quickly, and I got 3 down and 9 to go. So there we go. Chances are I'll have the stars done. Okay, I've got my 12 blocks, my 12 stars completed, and that's all I'm going to do while I'm down here in Georgia. I'm thinking I need to square these because they are uneven. They should be 4.5-inch square blocks, and just because of sewing and whatnot, they're not quite even. I didn't want to square them down here because I don't like cutting off my stitching, my ends, until I'm ready to put sashing on. I just don't like the thought of them coming apart. And can't do it down here anyway because the biggest square that I bought down here is only 12.5. So, and I like using my rotating cutting board when I square things off. So these will go home with me with all the pieces, and I get to put them up on my design board and see what they look like after I square them up and get the top together and then get the quilt put together. So I'm pretty happy with it. So there we go. That'll be that. That's it for this one for Georgia. Next video will be from Maine. Yay!